All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to yet another struggle stream with Maggie and Lucy. This is Let's Talk, where we believe the older women should teach the young. I'm Maggie, and together with Lucy, we are simply two older women who married young and believe in prioritizing marriage and family in your prime. So twice a week, what we do is we come here with you all and we share from our own lived experience, combined over 40 years of marriage experience. And we talk about topics that hopefully are helpful for the young women that still want traditional marriage and family, even in these modern times. So Lucy, say hello to everyone and let us know, what are we reacting to tonight?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Yes, I found, I subscribe to this judge, and she has gone through her life after her husband passed away. Um, and sometimes she gets on live streams, or she posts a video about how hard it is for her sometimes to be without him. But in this case, she talked about a really good topic that is very, um, it's impactful. It impacts the modern woman because from what we see in social media, these women are always looking for the 1% men, even though they don't come from that 1% environment. So she talks about looking at that regular guy, and the message is amazing. I love this judge.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to say hello to you all in the chat. So, again, this is Judge Lynn. She is new to me. I have not seen her content before, but the title is very striking. It's called I Love Regular. So, I'm glad Lucy gave us some context. So we're going to play it and pause it and give you all our take. But I'm going to start even before playing it. You said something about, Lucy, how most women are looking for that 1% man, even though they don't come from that. And I was talking to my man earlier today, and I don't know if it's social media or these dating apps or pop culture or whatever that thinks that just because we see it, we can have it. That is not how it has worked for hundreds and thousands of years. Young ladies especially, I know you think, well, these are new times. That's great. But if you want a relationship that will last, the best thing for you to do is for you to be with that 1% man before he becomes 1%. Like TLC said, swim in the rivers and lakes that you're used to. So the laughs that you'll have, the jokes that you'll have when you built a life together, when you know each other. And it's different if you move to a different area and you transplant there, then you become in that area. But just seeing somebody across the country or across the world, it's really hard to assimilate into their life. And if you want to be a traditional, wife, you're going to have to understand his world so that you can be a support system to him. And it's really hard to understand something you've never seen, you've never experienced. You just watch it and say, okay, that's what they do, when you really don't know. So you'll have a much better time and much better success if you stop punching outside of your weight class. That's a little thought from me. Let's see who we have in the chat. Then we're going to go ahead and play the video. I'll give you all my disclaimers. We've got Derek Davidson here. He says, back now, Maggie. All right. Thank you so much for being here. He says, hi, darling. Hello, lady. Oh, dearest darling, says, looking forward to this live. Yeah, I think this is a good title for all of us. Next Level is here preaching already, saying the doors of the church are open. Pass the oil and pass the plate. The Holy House of Femininity is live. And Jeff H is here. We got some new names in the chat. Welcome, everyone. Maggie, Lucy, Proverbs 31 woman. Thank you both for showing and sharing the virtues of traditional godly women. Thank you so much for that compliment. High praise. I appreciate that. Just you're too kind. All right. So your two disclaimers. You should know by now that Lucy and I come from traditional backgrounds, and that is what we promote. You can do whatever you want to. You may just want to do it over there because over here you might not be happy. And if you want to watch the video, this one's only about 10 minutes. I've linked it in the description so you can watch it without our commentary. So with that, let's go on in.
I will tell you about yesterday I was cleaning house, and I clean house. Of course, you play music when you clean house, and I had thought I had cleared my playlist of all songs that were dangerous to me, because as a widow, songs can be dangerous, and I thought I was cool. I was cleaning, and then a song came on by Glenn Campbell. I know probably you don't remember him. He's an old country singer. It was called Wichita Lineman. And it was a song about a guy that worked on electrical lines, and he couldn't get home to the woman that he loved. And he wanted to go home, but it didn't look like rain. And whenever it wasn't raining, he had to work because he had to keep the lights on. Just he was a regular dude doing a regular job. But if he stopped doing his gig and guys like him, the lights go off. And he wasn't entrepreneurial. He wasn't all of these things that everybody says everybody ought to be these days. What he was a regular guy who kept the lights on. And I played that song. I sat down on the floor and just cried, because my husband was a regular guy that kept the lights on. I'm a regular chick that just has an irregular job. And I know it's a little bit presumptuous of me to extol the virtues of being regular. But I am regular. I just have an irregular job. I didn't intend on it. It just happened to me. They called me. I didn't call them. I just kind of showed up. Joe and I used to always say this: we work here, we don't live here, because we didn't. The environment wasn't. It wasn't it was wonderful. I loved the job. I mean, best job in the world. I had a good time. I looked good because I had some great makeup artists, especially when I was in LA. But I just think regular guys don't get their due.
Oh, this is really good. I thank you, Lucy and Next Level, for explaining, because I didn't really understand the context. So let me ask a question and then I'll share my thoughts. So she was married to, as she calls him, a regular guy. And so she is or was an attorney or judge and happened to be a TV judge. But okay. So her job took her in that path. But Lucy, do you know how long they were married or how long they were together before he passed?
I think it's over 30 years. Let me look it up.
Okay. The reason why I was asking those questions, it just really says a lot about our upbringing. And I love that even though she was put in these bright light, big city TV environments, she still called herself, what did she say? I'm a regular chick. And, I know pop culture and modern media that goes against so many women. I'm a 10, I'm a queen, I'm a princess, bow down and all of that. But I love that this woman who was successful, not only professionally, but personally, married for 30 years, after all of that and all the experiences and opportunities that she had, she considered herself a regular chick. And I think that humility really goes a long way. Like Lucy says, we don't come from that. None of us are trust fund kids. Lucy and I are both, immigrants here, very humble beginnings. And you can have nice experiences. We're planning a wonderful weekend for the ladies. But honestly, who we are and how we were raised stays with us for the rest of our lives. And I see a lot of women, especially young women, there's nothing wrong with having a dream and having an ambition. But I'm going to tell you, like Nino Mister said, you need to find somebody that comes from where you come from or has the same type of values that you have, and then you all grow together. So if you're the ambitious one in your small town, you need to partner up with the ambitious one boy in your neck of the woods, so you all understand each other. Because when all of that crumbles, he said, if you won't eat rice and beans with me, then you don't really want me. You want all the stuff that comes with me. So I just thought it was fantastic that after all that, being a TV judge, she said he was a regular guy and I was a regular girl. Reminds me of Dolly Parton and her husband. What would you add, Lucy?
So Next Level said that they were married since 1989. So she's been married to him, even though he's passed. It's been 36 years in 2025 that she's married to him. So, and it's I love watching her because, you know, she misses him, and she tells us, you know, some days are just hard. And that's what happens when you create a life with that special someone, where you find yourself lost if they're not in your life. So I also love her because anytime she's talking and she gets anxious and she gets sad, the dogs, for whatever reason, start acting out like to make her life laugh. Is the funniest thing. They know when she's feeling very sentimental, they start either pulling a ball and they start getting close to her to make her, to kind of like distract her from that sadness. But you can see that once you become two in that relationship, you know, once you get separated by, you know, unfortunately, you know, he passed away, it's different. You feel it because that was your that was your other half. So again, unfortunately, with these modern relationships, modern women, they haven't learned to love that way, to love with that loyalty and that ability to stick with to someone in the hardest, most, you know, challenging times, that make your relationship, you know, stronger, because you stay within, you learn how to work with each other in those most challenging times.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'd love to know what you all say in the chat. Next Level says, a skilled tradesman. Thank you. She was married from 1989. Some of y'all watching weren't even born in 1989 until 2022. So this is, and I don't know how old this video is, but let's just say it's relatively recent, 3 years ago, and she still misses him so dearly. That's true. When you are married, two do become one. The Condemned says, are we talking about regulars today? Yes, we love all men here. And, you know, I think we have gotten so far away from just the value of a man being a man. And Next Level says, modern women love things, not people. And you hit the nail on the head. And that really makes me sad, especially as a boy mom. And I see my sons in a lot of men. I just have a heart for the life that they live that we will never understand. But when I look at this woman, ladies, we will all be here. We will all be in our golden years. We will all have memories of something, and you get to choose. You know, that's the circle of life. And I'm just going to say it, you know, approaching 50, when you get to the second half of life, you have more years behind you than you have in front of you. That's just the circle of life. It's going to happen to all of us. But even though she gets sad in those moments, how beautiful and how sweet is it that she has a lifetime of memories to recount. And this is the fear. You know, Lucy and I both listened to the late, great Kevin Samuels, and he would ask women, what do you want life to look like when you're 40, 50, and 60? You know, young ladies, it's coming for all of us. Time waits for no man. So my fear is that when we're chasing these things and not people, none of these things are going to satisfy you. What did she say? She had a TV judge job with makeup artists in LA and all of that. And she's living, you know, however she's living, you know, comfortable in her home, a modest house with her dogs around us. That is the future for all of us. So these things and these trips and trinkets that a lot of women are collecting aren't going to do anything for you. And your friends that are, you know, in your ear right now are going to go off and live their life. So like I always say, choose wisely and prioritize relationships, because we don't have forever, and I encourage you to make the most of every moment. Believe me, Lucy and I definitely will. All right, let's go back in.
Anymore. You know, you see these guys. I was watching this therapy show, and these guys are talking about, you know, like they're the ultimate dude. They got a suit on that's just too tight. I don't understand the tight suit thing. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But anyway, oh my goodness. But regular dudes don't get everybody what, you know. I'm not going to mention his name because I think it's heretical, but all this high value man and, you know, what are you bringing to the table? I bring these monies and this entrepreneurial spirit and this and that. And I got this woman, she's like found the brand and all this kind of stuff. And she's really beautiful and her hair is long and flowy and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you know, I got to meet a high value man. I got to meet the right woman. She's da 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 da. Regular dudes. He ain't got to have a suit on that's too tight. He ain't got to, you know what I mean? They'll have to have a 6-figure job. You know, just regular dudes keep the lights on. All of these entrepreneurs, if they went away, your life wouldn't really change. Maybe your entertainment would change a little bit, but you ain't got nobody to turn on the lights and the plumbing and regular chicks too. Because I consider myself a regular chick. A regular chick is one who just is regular. You know?
I absolutely love this. I love that she refers to herself as a regular chick. And I know I'm beating this horse, but the mentality of a woman who was on TV, who is a judge, I'm a PhD, we hear that soundtrack, who on paper should be beating her chest and letting us all know how great she is or was. And she just continues to remind us, I'm just a regular chick. None of that matters. You know, I think about myself. I'm just a small town girl. I'm not that special, you know, but I just love that what is important to her was the relationship that she as a regular chick had with her regular dude, now passed on husband. And I think someone said that he was a skilled tradesman. If somebody knows in the chat what his occupation was and her age, I would love to know. But the other thing that she said, and I know she didn't want to mention Kevin Samuels, he was polarizing, but he often talked about our blue collar brethren who often get overlooked. And did you hear her when she said, if the big bosses and the entrepreneurs, everybody wants a high value man, if they went away, your life really wouldn't change that much. Maybe you wouldn't have, you know, as many technological conveniences, or like she said, you know, entertainment. Maybe you wouldn't be able to do this and pull up any movie from Time. But the men that keep the lights on, the men that actually do the manual labor that, let's face it, we don't, the men that make sure all of this stuff even works in the first place, that don't work in climate control, that get dirty, that are just honorable, like Lucy says, noble men. And did you hear at the beginning of this, she said that she was listening to a song that brought her to tears. And the song was talking about a man who either he was an electrician or some type of job, and his heart was longing to go home, but he had a job to do. And he was a man of his word. And even though his feelings, yes, they have feelings, he didn't want to be there. He said this is what he was going to do, and he did his job. That character trait, that value, ladies, that is so much more important than the salary, than the car that he drives, than the restaurants that he can take you to. If that's the hill that you want to die on, fine. But I would much rather be speaking of a man of noble character and honorable, even if he worked a regular job. You can still see the love and the twinkle in her eye when she talks about her now passed on husband. And I will take that 7 days out of 7 over, a 1% man, which I have. But if they don't have the character, none of that other stuff matters. Believe me. What would you add, Lucy?
Thank you, Next Level, for adding some of the information about the judge. Her husband was a professor. He supported her in their early years, and then she supported him. And her age, she's 65 years old. And I love her because, her worth is 20 million. She's worth 20 million. That regular girl that she calls herself, but she still is grateful for the beautiful relationship and marriage that they both, the life that they both created together. So again, and it's interesting because I see the modern young women, they fail to put themselves in a situation where if the electric grid went down, or all of these beautiful things that they think that they just appear by, because they just appear, it went down. They have no idea that the men that would be going out there fixing the world is those men that have those skills. It's not going to be the guy. It's not going to be the guy on his tower over there looking at the manufacturing plant. It's going to be those that are doing the actual manufacturing with their hands. So again, and for me, I'm kind of an empath to begin with. And, I try to put myself in a situation where, heaven forbid we have a hurricane. Well, I don't put myself in a situation. I have been in situations where there's been hurricanes, there's been civil wars, there've been earthquakes, and the first people in the line of defense are those men. So again, and this is what happens when, people live a very easy life that this country has provided to them, that they don't realize that the world is completely different than the easy life that the men have made for us.
So true. I see you all coming in hot and heavy in the chat, so I'm going to bring you all into the conversation. But ladies, I have another assignment for you. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but I just want you to take this next week. Like Lucy said, all of the men that really keep the world turning, that makes everything so comfortable for us, that are overlooked, that are invisible to you, take time and be intentional this week. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything different. But when you pass by a construction site, look at those men that are working. When we just had storms come through and a tree goes down and there's cables and people have to go up on that truck or whatever it is, obviously, I don't know, who make sure that things get cleaned up and safe. If you've had, like Lucy said, natural disaster in your area, look at the people who come to rescue and just ask yourself, what if they weren't there? What if they decided, I don't really want to go to work today? So you're on your own. You could paddle that. You could paddle that boat to safety if you want to. Coming in with the $10. Thank you so much. Next Level says, thank you, ladies, for another wonderful topic. Your appreciation for men in general doesn't go unnoticed. Blessings to you both. And as always, RIP to the message and the legacy of Kevin Samuels. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's go back to where we were. You all have a lot to say about this one. Jeff says a lot of women now completely disregard the sacredness of marriage. Yeah, Lucy is right. If women don't even know how to date anymore, they surely don't know how to be in relationships. And it's really tragic to see. You always hear me say the purpose of dating is to see if this is a suitable match for marriage or long-term. Then you move on to the marriage and long-term phase. Ladies, you are not supposed to date forever. It damages you because you don't develop relationship skills. So all you know is how to get dressed up and go sit down somewhere. And that's not going to give you 30 plus years of memories. Next Level says her husband was a professor. He supported her in their early years, and then she supported him. And I did not know her. I didn't know she was a worth $20 million. And it doesn't matter the amount. My point is this, ladies, ask yourself, if you had $20 million of value to your name, would you elevate your husband, or would you tell everybody how big and bad you were? Would you be just as humble to call yourself, I'm just a regular chick, I'm just a small town girl, I'm just a mom, I'm just whatever? Or would everybody need to hear and see you coming 20 miles away, and then the man that you live with, you are unbearable, and remind him every day how you don't need him? Ask yourself. I have a lot of respect for her, and I didn't know who she was, so this is beautiful for me to see. It reminds me of Tabitha Brown, whose husband was a police officer, and she retired him after her cooking and spices took off. So let's see. Rodney says, life is not a movie script. Life is full of ups and downs, lived by regular men and women. That's so true. Ladies, we are regular. All of us are. Because if we're not, you sure wouldn't be here watching me and Lucy. You'd be living your trust fund life. So have a little bit of humility. It's actually a very beautiful feminine quality. Thank you so much. We got Teresa in the house. Discipled One says, sorry, I'm late. Never late, never late. Happy to have you here. And he was 71. Wow. Still young, if you ask me, but we don't, tomorrow is never promised. Jeff H says, they call us regular guys boring, yet we are the best thing that happened to them and bring out the best in them. Sadly, not all, but many women fail to see that. And it's true, ladies. And when you get to your older years and you passed on that good, hardworking man, do not disrespect him by circling back around. Go figure it out on your own, because you didn't see his value when he was right in front of you. All right. Neo Moses says she spoke on the stuff that matters a lot. Hello, Rebecca is here. And Rodney says life is full of dirty jobs. Absolutely. Dirty jobs and very strong and humble men. Good evening, daughter of Yah is here. And Lucy is right. If you all have the opportunity to travel, I was on a cruise once, and you just kind of get in your mind like, oh, this is just this big ship in the ocean and it's great, whatever. And we were pulling up to somewhere, and I guess they dropped the anchor. I'm not mechanical. I don't know. And I just happened to look over, and on the dock or pier or whatever it was, these men were like throwing the rope and like pulling the boat, and I'm watching this and I'm like, I actually was almost ashamed of myself for just thinking, oh, like a car, it just kind of steers up and parks there. Obviously, I don't know. And I just had a moment of humility, like, these are the jobs, these are the men that do the back-breaking work so that we can live our comfortable life. So again, just take a moment to look around you. They are everywhere. They are everywhere. Disciple One says, preach. Daughter says, yes, preach. And the Condemned says, when my team and I do project walk downs and the people in the community see us, some are always mad because their power is out. But on the rare occasion, 2 or 3 people thank us for working so late. Show appreciation, ladies. It goes a long way. Next level, thank you for the $5. Says, how much of that $20 million would she give to have him back? That is the question. God, so true. All right, let's go back in. Thank you all.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I think everybody is so intent on being this big, beautiful, like a Beyonce, Jay-Z cast off. And I just think if you look for that, you're not looking for the thing that'll make you happy. There's this 80-year longitudinal study on happy, started at Harvard, 1938. Back in the day, they thought what made people successful, what determined successfulness was race. And they weren't just talking black and white. Madison Grant and all those guys, there were Nordic whites and Alpine whites and Mediterranean whites. And the Nordic whites were whiter than the Alpines that were whiter than the Mediterraneans. And they really believed that a capacity could wholly be determined by that. And they embarked on a study where they had a whole bunch of Harvard guys and a whole bunch of regular guys from Boston, from a poor place in Boston, and they compared what happened. The study lasted for years. Other studies cast off it and said more than anything else, more than genetics, more than how you raise, whether or not someone ended up living longer, healthier, and happier was determined by far and away the number and strength of relationships and quality of the relationships they had. That was far more predictive of all manner of success. Hey, than anything. It shocked everybody. Studies still going on today, you know, but and there's a book on it called Happy, and I can't remember, and I'm reading it, but it's like when you are in constant state of comparison, it makes you unhappy. And I mean, psychologically, it makes you unhappy. And even if you come out on top in that constant comparison, it's still a source of distress for you, which you know, do you know how much we count and we monetize and we target and we, you know, am I better than this? Am I better than this person? Do I look better than this and that? And it can pull you in, and sometimes it'll make you money, and it often makes you money when you talk about dating, because as an authority on, you know, this is what you need to do and this is what you need to do. Those are very, 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 very successful. All I'm saying is this: don't let your culture. Hey. Don't let your culture run your mind. And it can run your mind without you really realizing that's what's going on.
Oh my goodness, Lucy, you were right. The dogs are picking up on her her sense, her passion is coming through, and the dogs are feeling it too. But she said something that really struck me. Well, first of all, the study. So ladies, again, you don't have to listen to Lucy and me. We're here until we're not. You know, if it lands, let it land. But most of us believe in science. And if there's been this 80-year study, and there's all this type of research, and they look at people that are in privileged areas of the world, not privileged areas of the world, have things, don't have things. But what she said is that in this study, and I have statistics for you, but the overwhelming reason why people were happy was the strength and the duration of their relationships. So again, young ladies, the sooner you can prioritize real relationship, marriage and family and your network, and you know, of course you want good friends, but you know, let's just face it, you know, that man, that woman, that husband, that wife, that companion in a real relationship, your happiness is going to be so much greater than people who may be better off than you, live in a nicer neighborhood than you, drive a bigger car than you, take fancier vacations than you. None of that really matters in the long term. And again, we're all going to be 65 one day. It's coming for all of us. The other thing that she said that just really struck me about this constant comparison, and this is a big part of social media. It's not helping us, especially young ladies and young girls, all this competition and thinking that they're ugly. And, you know, we all go through that awkward phase. I'm a late bloomer, like just comparing yourself. Things are supposed to be perfect or they're not. But we've always, I'll speak for myself, I've always thought about the woman who is on the losing end of the stick, right? You know, I'm down here, look at her, you know, her skin, her hair, her nails, her dress, her shoes, all of that is perfect, and little old me. But what she said is that even if you come out on top in the comparison, even if you're that it girl, even if you're the one who's the perfect size and the perfect everything, the constant comparison of yourself to other people to make sure you maintain that position adds stress to even your life. So you think you're winning, but it's hurting you because you're competing and comparing yourself to all this stuff out here instead of having a real, meaningful, loving relationship that lasts the test of time. To me, that's fascinating. What would you add, Lucy?
I love her, how she continues to tell us, you know, about the study, and the dogs are causing chaos on the side. Again, for me, that would never happen. My dogs would never be as crazy as that because, that's it. But that's the temperament of those dogs. My dogs are just, couch potatoes, and they just want to be left alone on the side snoring. But, and what it makes me think, that study that she made is and I see that the reason society is so chaotic right now is because that relationship building, that relationship maintenance has gone out the door. You don't have anymore those, those neighborhoods where if you walked from one corner to the other, your aunt or your friend or your mom's friend would call the mom if you did something wrong and would say, "Hey, look at what your daughter's doing." And then you would know that you would hear from your aunt, from your uncle, from the friend across the way, because that's how society, those neighborhoods were that way. You kept each other in check because you were a neighborhood that was, built from the ground, and then you grew up in those many years together. And unfortunately, we no longer have that. And I think it also comes down to the family, destruction. When you don't have the mom and dad in that family, then that's where the destruction of society comes in. All these divorces, you have all these, unfortunately, you have these, families that get separated, and you have one way of doing things in one home, and then you have another way to do things in another home. So again, it is so important to get back to basics and understand that, we're stronger as, as a family, mom and dad together for years, and facing those challenges until the day we die.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Oh, yes. I know she would trade everything for more time with him. I know I would. So yes, the dogs are always there. You guys are laughing at each other. And Next Level says comparison is the thief of joy. And remember that, ladies, it's not only the thief of the joy of the person that maybe you think you're better than, but it's also stealing your joy too. Is it worth it? Discipled One says being better is more valuable than doing better. I agree. And Rodney says neighborhoods are built by meaningful relationships, families, and marriages. That is so true. What Lucy was describing, what Rodney is talking about, how we grew up, was that sense of community. You knew who your neighbors were. You went down the street, and and I'm not saying that take us back to the golden age of Americana, but it added a stability to who we were and an identity, because whether you were having a sleepover here or going to have dinner with friends or whatever, there was just this understanding of proper behavior and how we treated and respected each other. And community is comprised of families. And like Lucy said, when we don't have these intact families anymore, people are doing whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, with whoever they want to do it. And this is coming from two women who unfortunately have experienced divorce, but we still prioritize family. And this is not something to go into lightly. You all already know about my situation. Even though I'm divorced from my ex-husband, we are still a family unit, forever family. We have family meetings when it's concerning the kids, not just, I just do my own thing, doesn't matter. No, what did your father say? He asked them, how have you been treating your mom? I'm going to ask her. So that comes from the family unit. And ladies, you may not like it. I do not care. Families are established by men. If you want a traditional relationship, a man builds the life that he wants. And we're talking about regular men that we all love. They build a life that they want, and then they choose the wife that they want to continue on in their family with them and raise children in the way that they want to continue that legacy. Well, we have now so many unwed mothers and people just doing whatever they want to do, having kids with whoever, and then there's no family unity. You're just trying to makeshift. Yes, things happen. Unfortunately, things happen, but that is the exception. It has now become the rule. And just look at the society that we have now, because can't nobody tell us anything. I don't have to be married. I can do whatever I want to. I can have a kid. I got enough money to raise him. I don't need the father. And look at the world now. Do we think it's better with intact families, or do we think, what we have is better because we're free to do whatever we want to. You can ask yourself, but I love this. So let's go back in. Yes, what did your father say? I'm not playing with these kids. A hallmark of true motherhood, regardless of distance. Yeah, that is their father. And children need both parents. Newsflash, it takes two. All right. So let's go back in.
And, to be happy, you have to feed the right dog. And the right dog is not the pretty dog or the presentation dog or the performative dog. The right dog is the one that's with you. You know what I mean? In the down times, in the bad times, who loves you, who cares for you, and who is strong for you. I had the right dog. You know what I mean? He's the reason you know who I am. Because I'm so regular. I never would have done any of the things I've done without him. And he was regular. Two regulars ended up having an extraordinary life together because we were looking for love. And then we loved each other. And then we looked forward. So I'm just saying, don't just pick on what they look like and what they have and what they bring to the table. Because you might miss the happy boat. And we know, as a matter, well, now, I don't want to say as a matter of, we know, we have researched enough about the human brain to know what tends to make us happy and not happy. And that study from Harvard has been replicated over and over again. And it's the quality, strength, health, and number of meaningful, positive relationships that, and I'm just saying, like for me, a regular chick, you get a regular guy, and the results don't necessarily have to be regular. You know what I mean? You want to marry a star, do you want to create a celestial body, celestial bodies, you know what I mean? The bright, shiny one in the room, we burnished each other. I don't know. Not that we had this wonderful, watch this. Have you ever seen anything like that? I'm not saying we had we had a great relationship, and I miss it. And I played Wichita lineman, and he was the guy that would be on the line. He wouldn't come home till it was time. And I don't want you to miss out on a great regular guy looking for some nonsense that, scientifically has been demonstrated won't make you happy in the end. That's all I'm saying. Y'all have a good day. Let's hear it for regular dudes and chicks.
That gives me chills. That just, she was getting choked up and I'm getting choked up. I don't know, young people, if you understand what a precious gift that was for all of us. I will speak for myself, but oh my goodness, to be a widow at 65, she could be off living her life quietly. She doesn't have to tell us choose wisely because we had an amazing life. But if you chase that amazing life, you will miss the happy boat. And I love that she said, he's a regular dude. He was a regular dude. I'm a regular chick. But did you hear her when she said, he's the reason you even know who I am? Her humility to me is the most beautiful thing about her. And ladies, you have to understand, men look at this. And I just think of, having had gone to the office, how many women give them a little bit of power. I'm a project manager. I work, I manage the call center, whatever. I'm just contrasting how humble she was, being a big job, TV judge, And she just kept saying, I'm just a regular chick. But she chose a regular man because she said she was looking for love. They both were looking for love. And together with that love created the star that people know today. And so many women are going to miss that because you're chasing the star. You want the star already formed. Forget the relationship. I don't care. I don't care if we live like roommates, just make sure I can have this star life. And then you end up choosing someone, you don't like him, he doesn't like you. You never really have anything meaningful. I just think it's incredibly beautiful. And what a gift for us, for her to tell us what really mattered at the end of all the other stuff from the outside looking in that most people would say would be her best moments. It was that regular relationship that still brings her to tears to this day. It's beautiful. What would you say, Lucy?
Yes, I can't imagine living with someone for 36 years and then all of a sudden they're gone. And the sad thing is that we all go through it. Um, what I loved about her is that, see, the dogs are clowns. They knew that she was getting sentimental, and then they started pulling each other just to divert her emotions from what was happening. And she had the ball over here. The first dog was just looking at that ball, but the second dog got the ball, and that's where the fight started anyway. So right now, that's her happiness. It's so beautiful to see her, because even though she does her regular things, she gets online, and then you hear the dogs that she adores, of course, just being in her regular life. This woman that has, you know, all the money in the world would be so happy having that man next to her that now she misses. So again, I think it's so sad that I don't know if it's the environment. I don't know if it's social media, the movies, all of these things that are teaching young women to look at superficial things rather than character, and not understand that you can have the most handsome, the richest man in the world, but if the character is not there, your life is just not going to be there. And you build character. Men build character by coming from the bottom and building themselves to the top. And it's a beautiful thing to be next to that man while he's building that world, mainly for him and for you. Once he's allowed you to hitch yourself up to him, you're going to build that world that he probably would have built it by himself. But it is better to have that one person just being the cheerleader, supporting him and helping him in the things that he would have to be worried about during the building of the world. So again, it's just so sad that the regular men, for whatever reason, are not given that respect that they deserve.
So true. I see you all coming in the chat. I'm gonna come in and see what you all have to say, but I'm just floored by this video. It really is underrated. I see and I hear so much when I look at this woman on so many levels. At 65, the way she talks about her now deceased husband, you would think he is the $20 million judge. And I just compare that to most modern women that we interact with. They can't wait to talk bad about the man who gave his life so that you could, have what you have. They can't wait to tell you what their husbands don't do, what they wish they had, to make little digs or jokes or whatever. And that is just, it's so disrespectful. I'm so honored and humbled by just watching. I want to be like that when I grow up, and I know I will be, but just, it's beautiful to see, because unfortunately, and that's why Lucy and I are here, usually older women are not as, at least the ones that we, that come to the internet to talk, are usually not in praise of their husbands of 30 plus years. So I think that was a beautiful gift. All right, let's see what you all are saying in the chat, and then we will wrap this up. We talked about neighborhoods. Yes, very important. And Jeff is giving us a compliment. He says, Lucy and Maggie, you two are the epitome of woman in class and elegance. Thank you. You are too kind. It's a needle in a haystack to come across a prudent woman. Thank you so much. This really is our heart. The more I talk to women, I realize a lot of them don't have the example. They're just kind of going with the flow or figuring it out on their own. But ladies, I'm not taking any accountability off of you. If you know better, it's your choice to do better or not. You only get one shot at this. So you're not going to be able to, oh, no, I'm serious now. And husbands like that, regular guy husbands, the linemen, they don't come around too often because men are men of action. So if you miss that happy boat, that's your regret. And we don't want that for you. So we're trying to catch the young ones. So thank you so much. We got Linda Manier. She says there were a lot less Karens back in the days when we grew up. And you all are talking to each other. Discipleton, what does your father say? Absolutely. Rodney says the number one predictor of success and happiness is the person you marry. That is so true. I think is it Warren Buffett or one of these kabillionaires said the biggest decision, I think somebody asked like a finance question and he said like the biggest decision or factor of your success in life or something like that is going to be who you decide to marry and who you partner with. And ladies, believe it or not, especially those of you thinking you can just be a one-man band with these kids. And yes, I'm gonna stand on this soapbox. Who you choose to have children with, that's a big part of it too. So if you think you're just going to go out here and, because you like this guy or it was just, one night of passion or whatever, that will stay with you. And so you want to make decisions that are going to help you get the outcomes that you want, not be a burden that you're going to have to explain for the rest of your life, because you will have to explain it to the man that you want. It's not just going to be like, oh, well, that young and dumb, you can give that up. Rodney says it takes two who create chemistry. Yes, absolutely. Those dogs, I've never seen anything like that. Tug of war with dogs. Like, y'all know me and animals, so I'm just going to move on. But I am so glad for her that if that ain't an emotional support animal, I don't know what is. So I'm really happy for her. Discipled One says, I don't need you. I don't want you to miss out on a regular guy over some nonsense. The judge has spoken and court is adjourned. So yes, ladies, ask yourself, what are the traits that you're looking for when you're out here interacting with men? Or are you just out here to collect experiences? Do you really know how to choose wisely? Lucy and I have started the Wife Lessons class, but it is available on demand if you want to learn what husbands need from wives. It is our advanced class and our best class. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com if you want to learn from us. All right, let's see what else you all are saying. Next level says a celebrity who didn't suffer any scandal. Yeah, this is awesome. I honestly had never heard of her, and I think that really does say a lot. And when she has the opportunity to talk, look at how she talks about her husband. I want to be like that. Jeff H says, extremely true, Maggie. Pride goes before a fall. Humility is everything. And without that in a relationship or marriage, it's already doomed. Yeah, we talk about that in the Wife Lessons. Ladies, you have to be humble. Or you go to 65 and you do it all yourself and see who's there to sing your praises because you just had to be big boss. Rodney O says, the video reminds me of the phrase that it's better to have loved and lost than never to have been loved at all. That's so true. Lucy talked about that, how many young women or women, period, don't even know how to be in a relationship. I wish I could tell you all the 30 and 40-year-old women that I talk to when I ask them questions. Have you ever been in a relationship with a serious marriage-minded man? And the answer is no. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not helping them. And Jeff says, yes, Lucy, good men start from humble beginnings and work our way up. The wrong type of women are blind. And Rodney says, Andrew Carnegie in Think and Grow Rich talked about the importance of the person you married. Yes, I've heard that been said before. So this was an incredible video. It just really touched me. I didn't know what to make of it, but I just love this. And I love the fact that with the platform that she has and all the accolades that she has acquired, she credits her husband as the reason why we know her. And I think that speaks volumes. What would you say to close us out, Lucy?
I don't know if she still runs that show, but she was a great judge. I mean, if you see like the reruns of some of the cases that that were presented to her, she was amazing because she always offered like, a real perspective, not only the books, but she would always say, tell stories just like she tells right now. And you can tell she's an exceptional woman, and and she's living her life after her significant other passed away, and you can tell that it's hard to let go sometimes when you've been with somebody that long.
Yeah, I cannot imagine it. But, the truth is, ladies, and gentlemen, I mean, most of the time we outlive our men because they do these hard jobs, because they take the stress, because they outwork us and they are honorable and noble and stay at work and go to work when they don't feel like it. Can we say the same? Or are we the ones that are a little bit flighty and flaky? We fight so hard to have all the opportunity and freedom in the world, yet we choose the most comfort. Yet we let our emotions and our feelings rule our decision making. It just is what it is. I mean, we're women too, but we have to be honest about the sacrifices that our men make. So, the takeaway for this one, ladies, again, the video was called I Love Regular. And I'll just say this as I tell the ladies that I talk to, our job is to observe the life of the man who is courting us and decide if we can hitch our wagon to his life and be a support system for him as he has created it. It is not for you to go in and to pester him about promotions. One of the students in our class, she said at the end of week 1, she just felt so guilty for several years in her marriage. She was disappointed in her husband for not being where he is now back then. And they married in their 20s. And so, ladies, if a man is going to get there, wherever there is, he's going to do it, like Lucy said, with or without you. He's going to do it on his own. But if you are loyal and if you are there and if you respect him and you honor and cherish him while he is on that journey, believe me, when they become that man, if they choose to, you will also be the beneficiary of whatever success. But if you see that man at his level, whatever that is, and you have decided, I can't do it, then you exit with grace and let him find somebody who will appreciate him right now as a regular guy. And when he does advance, if he chooses to, you leave them to enjoy their life because you did not want to sign up for that. So everybody has a choice. There's pros and cons. You can accept with grace or you exit with grace. But hopefully this has been an eye-opener that the regular men amongst us are the ones that keep all of the lights on and keep us all safe, happy, healthy, and whole. All right. Rodney says regular men and women are indispensable to a meaningful life. So with that, I am actually traveling this Saturday, so we will miss you all this Saturday. I'm very excited. Lucy and I have a student who's actually getting married in May. She's having a bridal shower, so I want to go show support. So we will miss you all Saturday. Usually we're here Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we'll be back next Wednesday with another video. You can find out about all of our courses and everything's on demand at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. Thank you for the donations from Next Level with the $10 and then again with the $5. So we appreciate you all so much and we hope this was helpful. So with that, we will say
Adios.
Adios.